Hello and welcome back to The Miracle Moment. My name is JJ and we are here with Dr. Kenneth Orbeck to pick up where we left off last, which was talking about longevity. Now, Dr. Orbeck, you covered a lot of basic things that the everyday people can really do, but I'm curious, what really gets in some folks' way of actually taking action on some of those things?
Oh, that's a great question. We did handle some real basics. I want to get a little bit, dive a little deeper into longevity. But the answer to your question is you can get in the way of yourself. And what I would like to challenge those out there that really want to get serious in having the best life that they can live is they've got a partner. They've got to partner with something, someone, somebody, some entity. When you develop a partnership, that partnership turns into accountability. If you're accountable and held accountable, your success escalates. And so you'll do so much better by having someone watch what you do. And as the owner and director of Regenerative Medical Institute, RMI, that's what we do with the people that come in our door is we form a partnership. All right. So the people I see, I love them all. You know that. And I partner with each one, and each one has individual goals. But I also hold them accountable. And I use this analogy almost every time I see a new patient. I'm like, Mrs. Jones, listen to me. Here's how our relationship's going to work. I'm going to be the ATC air traffic control, and you're in the pilot seat. So you're in your little Cessna, and you just got your private pilot's license, and you're working on your commercial license, and you're in the clouds. And I tell you to turn left heading 370 and descend and maintain 4,000 feet, and you say, no, that's too much work. Well, I see a mountain up in front of you that you don't see because I'm looking at the screen and I'm seeing what's out there, but you're in the clouds, okay? So I'll be telling you what to do based on what I see, using laboratory data, different specific analysis that we do on the body. We do all kinds of impedance testing, and we can know your body's composition. Okay, so when I do weight management, it's not about the scale. I don't care about that. I care about what you're made of. And that's just an example of what I'm looking at on my radar screen to guide you so that you can turn and pilot your airplane. So this is your baby, but I'd like to partner with you, and I challenge to partner with you to hold you accountable and to bring you up into an area of complete success. Because with a partner, your success doesn't double. It's exponential. So it's not 2 + 2 is 4. It's 2 + 2 is 16.
Well, they say every coach needs a coach.
Absolutely.
And this is where you come into play. Now, we talked last time about sleep and hydration and nutrition and working out. Can you talk to us about how RMI can fit into those pockets, if you will, to help elevate someone's performance in those areas?
Absolutely. But I'll briefly state, when you said that every coach needs a coach, guess what, guys? I have a coach.
Of course you do.
Okay, so I have a trainer. All right, and he tells me what to do. So, I don't just go to the gym and, rip it out. I've actually got guidance. So I just wanted to say that because, everybody needs help. And I have a coach, and I need help as well.
And you're living. So, you're living what you're preaching
absolutely.
As well.
I love it. And so it's good. So let's go into how I can, or we can, or RMI can aid, if you will, in what we do to help you in your life journey to achieve a fuller, more healthy, longer life. And so the first thing we do is we do a full analysis. I'll check your blood, your urine, whatever I have to do. I get a lot of analysis. We sit down, we go analyze. And then for a 1-hour consultation, I will outline what I think is important in getting you to the next level. Yes, we will talk about lifestyle factors, and I'll hold you accountable for your nutrition and your hydration and your activity levels and your sleep, everything we talked about. We will review as you have visits with me, but we dive deeper now. Okay, so now you're in the institution. We look at the data, and then I'll outline your treatment plan. For example, if we start with hormones, hormones must be individualized. They must be customized. No two bodies are created equal. And so I formulate a customized hormone regimen utilizing
Tell me.
bioidentical hormones.
Oh, there we go.
JJ, you know that.
I'm very familiar. Yes, I'm very, very familiar.
So there's a big difference between synthetic hormones and bioidentical hormones. Simply put, bioidentical hormones you heard this from our last podcast, is that bioidentical hormones are the hormones that are actually structurally identical to the ones your body makes. And they're the only ones that work because they fit the key properly and they open the door properly and they give the DNA the right signaling of what the cell has to do. So that's what bioidentical hormones do. We could talk about that for hours, but we're going to move on. So I look at hormones and I customize a plan. I think that's very important because you absolutely need cell signaling. All right. So the first thing we do is are your hormones imbalanced? Yes or no? If yes, which ones? Then we look at those hormones and we bring them into balance. Your orchestra, so to speak. We talked about that too. Your body is a beautiful orchestra. Hormones have to orchestrate that body. And they're cell signaling, and that's what's going to happen. Okay? So we get into the hormones, and I develop a plan for you and tell you which hormone, how you're gonna take it based on your convenience levels. What's convenient for you and how to take it. And I'll work with you on that. Now, that being said, okay, now we go into other situations within the office that I can help aid you. For example, if you have difficulty maybe getting to the gym 5 days a week, or maybe you're having a hurdle even opening the door of the gym, maybe that scares you, right? We could even aid in that because we have other entities in the office that can help you express energy and burn calories and burn fat. One of which is we have a HOCAT, which, it's a long word. It's hyperthermic ozone carbonic acid transdermal therapy, blah, blah, blah. What it basically means is I'm using oxygen and ozone with heat to turn your body into aerobic respiration, okay? The differences in the body's energy is you have anaerobic and aerobic. Now, when you have anaerobic respiration, it usually involves glycolysis, and you're using like nutrition and carbohydrates, you get X amount of energy molecules, whether it be 3, 4, 5, whatever. You get these X amount of molecules. The body's unique, and the reason we breathe and we oxygenate to keep us alive is it feeds what's called the Krebs cycle, okay? You like sports cars, right?
I do.
I know you do.
I love the fast ones.
And we just talked about what I did to my sports car,
Yes,
right?
we sure did, which maybe we'll talk about on another podcast
but anyway,
one day.
What I did was I added two new turbochargers, right? I'm really excited about that. So the reason I'm saying that is that the Krebs cycle is inside the cell, inside the nucleus, inside the mitochondria, and the Krebs cycle is your cell's turbocharger. Okay? So what happens is where fuel comes in, and with turbocharger pressure in a car, you develop horsepower. In the body, when oxygen comes in and it runs it through the Krebs cycle, it takes that X amount of energy and turns it into like X times 7. Because you're going through aerobic respiration, which uses oxygen, which happens when you start running. Okay, you become aerobic, and you're going to be burning fat, expending calories, and increasing your endurance. Okay, so all that being said, the HOCAT puts you into aerobic respiration. So you're sitting in a nice seat, nice and warm, with ozone and steam. Your head's outside. You're breathing oxygen through your nasal cannula. And I'm basically putting you into aerobic respiration for about 30 minutes, and you're going to burn about 500 calories, and it's like running 5 miles. And that's just a simple entity to introduce you into activity.
Wow.
Okay, so we have that going on.
Okay.
And different things in the office that I can partner you with. We have a lot of different entities that will hold your hand and walk with you down the pathway to help you age more gracefully.
Well, I see that interplaying with someone, as an example, I travel a lot, as you know. And yes, I get to the gym quite often, but there are times where I just can't because my schedule's intense.
right.
So I could actually come to your facility.
You can.
Get into the Hocket, which, by the way, Abby, if you can book me, that would be fantastic.
That would be great, right?
Fantastic. After this, I'll be there, and get the benefit of that, because 5 miles for me takes a lot longer than 30 minutes. Let's just say.
It is, and it's very effective, and it does a lot more than that too. It does a lot more than just turn on aerobic respirations. It's very cleansing. Different types of viruses and bacteria can't live with ozone around. So we're actually doing the cellular cleansing, tissue cleansing.
So this is much deeper than just exercise,
it's a deep,
supplement.
Right.
Okay.
Right. It's a deep cleanse as well. And you'll feel it like when you leave, you need to hydrate well to flush and rest. But you'll sleep really well. I guarantee you that.
That sounds amazing. I
Yeah,
can't wait to
for
take
sure.
advantage of that. Now, we also talked about nutrition. Is there anything you can do to help folks that are maybe struggling with that?
That's a great question too. Yeah, of course. I mean, with everything I talked about, I have in the office professionals behind me that work with me. I can't do everything, and I want I want to surround myself with people better than me, so I get better. That's what I want to do. It's really important to get really good professionals around you, and I have very good professionals around me, registered nurses and dietitians, and I've got a master's in nutrition. Her name is Lauren. She comes in and she works with our patients and their nutrition. And what's nice about her is she'll sit down with you for an hour and what is your lifestyle? What do you like to eat? What do you eat now? How can we curtail your lifestyle and your eating habits to where you can live the rest of your life and enjoy it, but be healthy? Right? I mean, anybody can sustain something for 2 weeks, but what about 20 years? All right? You have to do life-changing events here. You're going to have to do them with a coach that understands your life and is able to get longevity out of that program. That's the key. It's not a fad.
I was just thinking the same thing, is that how many people jump from one thing to the next when it comes to nutrition
all the time.
specifically, because they give it a week and they don't see the results, and then they get frustrated and then they bounce. And that's kind of miserable. I've done it before in the past. It's miserable to live in that. So what I hear you saying is that there's an alternative, which is being surrounded by someone who supports you at RMI and do a plan that actually works for their lifestyle.
Absolutely. Longevity is not a fad, guys. Just don't even go there. It is a life-changing process. Embrace it that way. And I recommend to start slow, start low, and ease in and continue to build. And get a good coach. If not me, find someone who really embraces this and believes in it and is passionate about it, and is willing to partner with you to give you the best results in your goals, because you're going to have life goals. I want to know what your goals are. Once I find out what your goals are, then we're going to set milestones, and I'm going to hold you accountable and measure.
And celebrate, because that's what you did with me when I came back in after going on my hormone replacement therapy, and we had great results. Granted, I was training for a half marathon at the time, so I was getting plenty of exercise. But you celebrated with me. You're like, "Oh my goodness, Jacqueline, look at your numbers," because we pulled up all the numbers again.
It was really good.
It was a really exciting moment.
Yeah.
One thing I want to touch on before we come to a close is supplementation, because that is such a big discussion everywhere.
Yes.
What should I take from supplements? Do I take these kind of vitamins or this kind of vitamin or what pill, et cetera?
Yeah.
Can you talk to us a bit about that and what you recommend from RMI?
Supplements are one of my basic tools. As a integrative functional regenerative doctor, supplements become some of my tools, basic tools that I have got to use correctly to give the body the right signal it needs to heal and to rejuvenate, okay? We mentioned this before, that can a pharmaceutical become a supplement? Putting you on the spot here. No, can't. Can a supplement become a drug? Yes, it can. Misused and overdosed, supplements can become a problem, okay? And if you don't understand your metabolic pathways, let's say you have an MTHFR SNP, which is a methylation pathway that your body develops more homocysteine and not enough glutathione, which is shop talk, but basically what it is you're not detoxifying properly. You start slamming in supplements and you're not, giving the body the right support for methylation. You're going to have a problem and you could get worse.
Wow, I don't think that's not a conversation that's really talked about too much.
No, not really. But yeah, you can overdo it. How many people out there, including me, okay, open up your closet, your supplement closet, and go, oh my gosh.
Guilty.
What is this?
Charged.
Like, I'm looking at, if I literally took everything that's in my house, I would never go to work. So, I have to do like this cleanse. I have to cleanse my closet. There's a way around that, guys. I'll tell you what it is. It's, and I'm guilty of that because I love reading and learning about supplements. And let me tell you this too, is that I will never prescribe for you out there or you, JJ, what I haven't tried myself. Okay. So if I'm giving it to you, I've done it. All right. That's just the way I am. And so one way around this is that when you get a coach or your partner, the best way to do that is a full analysis. Like, what happens if we look inside the cell of what nutrients your cell needs, not what's floating around in the serum, which differs. Because we can do intracellular nutritional analysis. And then based on that, we can prescribe for you the exact nutrients that the cell needs to work properly. Then we can take that to a next level. Because who wants to get up in the morning and start pouring out pill bottles on the counter when it's, you got 5 minutes to get in the car and you're 7 minutes late to get to work and the highway's congested. Typically, you're not going to take your supplements, right? But how many of you could grab a little bag and run?
That would be ideal. That
Exactly.
would eliminate 17 bottles.
So the first thing you do is an analysis, and then you find out exactly what you need, how much you need, and then you have it prepackaged. We have prepackaged supplement programs where this packet is for your morning, this packet is for your night. Have a nice day. Oh, okay, I can do that. I can do that. Take away the hard work. Do the job of doing what I want you to do, but don't do all the legwork. Leave that up to our staff.
And they get time back, because that's always the biggest reason people don't follow through, right? Is I don't have the time. Yeah. So you're giving them time back by orchestrating that upfront for them.
Yeah. And we're giving you time back, but we're also giving you guidance. So when you have guidance, you become much more efficient. If someone's watching you fly the airplane, like the air traffic controller, and he sees what's out there and the other airplanes in the sky, he can get you to that airport a lot faster than you can get on your own. And less dangerous, because you won't hit anybody. Okay? So formulating yourself with a coach and developing a partner who's looking at the scope and telling you how to direct your flight increases your chance of a safe landing and success in the most expedient way. Is how I put it.
I think that's a brilliant segue into the fact of why it's so important to find that partner, right? And why it's so important, because you don't have to be on your own, which goes back to relationship, which is part of longevity.
Part of longevity. It all is. It all forms a circle, the circle of life. It's a great thing. So, I challenge you to look at your life, define how important quality living is to you. Define that. How important is longevity, but more important, how important is the quality of that longevity? And then find a professional out there that can partner with you properly, that you respect and can communicate with effectively. And then once you form that relationship, walk that walk, and you'll continue to increase that slope in excellence. And then you'll achieve this level of internal wellness and mind clarity, strength, and endurance that we're often missing today as we scramble around like, little ants out there on the sidewalk. It's more than that.
Well, I really appreciate you sharing this insight that the way folks are living right now, it doesn't have to be just this way. It doesn't have to be the end. They have an opportunity to start again, and in doing so, create an amazing experience for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
And I think it's important for people to recognize that RMI as an example exists and is out there to help them achieve that objective and goal.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's well put in a nutshell. And I think all of you that are listening to this podcast, I ask you to take maybe after you turn this off, 2 minutes of your life, quietly close your eyes and think about what's important to you and what's important to your health. What goals you would like to achieve in the next 6 months to a year. Formulate a relationship to achieve those goals, and then continue that process to bring you up to a higher level of living. Graceful, loving living.
I got goosebumps.
That's the goal.
Yeah, I got goosebumps because who doesn't want to have more fun and enjoy life more, right?
And then live life, guys.
Yeah, have fun.
Don't pop pills. Live life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I appreciate you for sharing, Dr. Orbeck. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in to The Miracle Moment. We look forward to seeing you again soon.